Hello, I'd like to talk about time. This could change, but this is what I've always experienced up till now in my life, which is that my time goes really slowly. I've got so much time, and that's one of the reasons that I'm never sure when to get around to doing something. And I kind of get bored very quickly. So with dyspraxia, time management is definitely something that we...
Is this one mine?
Yep. We struggle with time management, and sometimes we sort of overcompensate with various parts of our life. So if we're struggling with something, then we work on it and we're very particular, and it's a bit stressful, or very stressful, but we end up being the person who arrives, if it starts at 9, no, not starts at 9. If we're supposed to do something at 9, we'll be the one doing it at 9 on the dot, because we become very aware of it because it's not something we're good at, so we don't want to just keep getting it wrong and getting there 3 hours late or 3 hours early. So then we end up sort of being really conscious about doing it at 9 o'clock on the dot. So then, because my time goes slowly, then if somebody's supposed to be meeting me at 9 o'clock, then I'll probably be there at 9 o'clock. And I expect them to be there at 9 o'clock as well. So it's kind of like a bit of inflexibility from me, because I feel like then if they arrive at 9:10, that time goes so slowly for me. Or if even however late they might be, to me it's really sort of agonizing, trying to wait that time. Another example is when I did a job a few years ago in a nursery, and it was meant to be a 2-hour stint each day, although it got extended. But the first shift I did with the 2 hours, when I came out and talked to my supervisor, and she said, "Oh, see, didn't it go really quickly?" And I was like, what? It was to me, it just felt so intense and so long. I think because I don't know if it's when I'm focusing on something. I don't know what it depends on, but I never get this experience of time going quickly. It's such a popular phrase. My nana used to use this phrase all the time, oh, time goes quickly. It was just kind of conversation filler that she used to dropping in. And I don't know if I've ever met anybody like me. There must be a lot of other people like me in this way, but where the time just goes so slowly. I've got so much time. And even, yeah. So then I'm always trying to fill the time. I don't think I'm very good at just not doing anything or just having a rest. So it makes me sort of do too much. What else can I say about that? Time. It's difficult to, whenever I have a new routine or anything, there's an example of when my daughter started swimming lessons, and I knew it, for example, it started at 3:45. So then I planned very carefully and thought it through to get there for 3:40. But what I'd forgotten because of my dyspraxia is that you're going to have time to get changed and get ready to get in the swimming pool. So then I hadn't given that amount of time. Oh, I know what else I was going to say about this. I kind of think as soon as I think of something, then I think it has to happen. So it's kind of a really sense of impatience with everything. And I don't necessarily come across as impatient. It depends what situation you know me from, because I am actually described as being patient. So maybe it can go either way, or it depends what it's with. But with if I... there's an example of when I was a manager a few years ago, and then there was a couple of people who I was supposed to be managing, but I wasn't. Even though I was a direct manager, there was also a manager above me, so it was always a bit of a awkward power dynamic, because whatever I said, or me or the other duty managers, what we said, these youngsters that we were managing used to kind of think, well, doesn't matter what you say, I'm just going to go straight to Russell. I'm going to just go over your head and just not listen to you. So we didn't really have as much authority as you need to have when you're in a management role. And then sometimes they just used to hanging around doing nothing. And I'm not very good at that. So watching someone just hanging around doing nothing when they're supposed to be working, to me it's just it's such a mismatch, because if I'm working, then I'm working. I don't just hang around if I'm supposed to be working. I don't know, it just doesn't compute for me. I think I'm quite judgmental about someone that's working, but then they're just hanging around. Because to me it's like, maybe because I'm so literal, I just think like if you're working, you're working. There's no sort of like possibility that you might not be working when you're supposed to be working. Anyway, I'm going on about that. So once I saw these two chaps sitting around, and they were kind of like, when someone's like ultra casual and just like sitting back and laughing and chatting, which is nice, but they were supposed to be at work. And then I thought of some things that needed doing, and I was like, oh, right, I'm going to go and ask them. And then I asked them, like, oh, please, can you like go and put all these leaflets around in the leaflet holders? And they were like, yeah, fine, okay then. Then I went back to my work that I was doing and carried on. But whenever I looked out the window, like there's like an indoor window, they were still just sitting there exactly the same, just chatting. And I was thinking like, I just asked them to do that thing and then they said they'd do it. And I think I can't remember what happened, but I just remember how frustrated I was. And I don't know whether or not I went back to them and said like, are you going to do it now? And they were like, yeah, we'll get round to it. So cheeky. Like they were just like, because to me it's like, if I think of something, it means now, not like in general when you get around to it in like an hour or something. I'm quite uptight, so it's like, it's not just like whenever, because the point was to me, this is time now. You could do it now while there's no customers coming. But I guess to them it was just like, yeah, we'll do it. We've said yes, we'll get around to it. So you can imagine like some of the reasons I don't really like being in a management position. Yeah. So time and then age, if I can squeeze it in a little bit. I mean, there's more I can say about time, but it's going to get really deep, so I might not go into all that today because I might not be able to feel like I can explain it properly, how I feel. So with age, this is a kind of autistic trait as well, which is like sometimes I don't really sort of... I tend to get on with people who are like a lot older or a lot younger than me. And I do have friends my age as well, close friends my age, but sometimes I just really click with people and there's a big age gap. Like some of my friends that I usually see when I'm on my daughter's school run, and we're just sort of like really, when you're like really tight with somebody, you just like really get each other and you're just there to support each other. I have some friends like that and they're kind of like, I don't know, 30 years older than me or 20 years older than me. It's not really something that I think about, but it's kind of noticeable because not everyone really does that. Some people just seem to have friends their own age and then that's it. And then with younger people, like, I'm not saying I have friends that are children because that just makes it sound a bit weird. It's not really like they're my friends as such, but I have a lot of children that I know who trust me and come up to me and they like spending time with me, and I have that kind of similar relationship with them where they get me and I get them. I mean, not that they get me as such, they don't know things about my life because I'm an adult, but like, you kind of, when you have like a true connection with somebody and you're able to sort of like be real sounds a bit cheesy, but like you're sort of genuine with each other. Maybe I just find that easier with people outside of my own age group, and that's quite typical with like autistic people as well. Like they have friends that are like, or they get along with children and like animals. Like we kind of like able to bond with people when there's less need for social social norms and stuff, because we don't really get that side of things. So a lot of my friends are sort of either dyspraxic like me and or loads older than me, but it's fine. I just love the way I have like kind of an interesting mix of people in my life and I appreciate them so much. So that's that. Thank you.